Hi friends, it's Cynthia, founder of ATX Yoga Girl, here for Wellness Wednesday with the Trail Foundation. And today I'm going to share with you just some tips, but also some ways to help cultivate a morning routine and why it's important, especially during this time that many people are still working from home and staying home. We want to make sure to bring in that piece of wellness, which is a really consistent morning routine. So let's start first on our Wednesday wellness with just a big mindful deep breath in, just finding a comfortable seat. Relax the shoulders and out. So thanks for joining. If you're just joining, I'm going to be talking to you today about why it's important to cultivate a morning routine, a morning practice, especially during right now with COVID-19 and many people being at home or maybe working part-time. So one of the most important things is that what I found personally is when I don't have a routine or structure, especially in the morning, it causes a little bit more of stress and anxiety, maybe just a little more overwhelming of feelings. I don't know if you might have felt that too. And I stopped my basic morning routine when everything kind of stopped for us in March, and felt that immediately the best thing for me to go back to was imagining that I was going to work every day instead of now joining, teaching classes on Zoom or talking on Instagram or Facebook. So a lot of the benefits of having a morning routine are decrease in stress levels. It helps you form really good, healthy daily habits. Your body feels better because you're not all just discombobulated and overwhelmed with what do I do, what's going on. And you feel more productive and more focused. And it also influences your entire day, how you feel, how you act, and for the rest of your day when you really set it up right. And I'm sure you've had tips on setting up your day and why it's so important. My reminder is really that, especially during chaos or change like we're in, to continue with that practice. And so just going to share some tips with you. Think of creating that healthy practice as becoming more intentional about it. So it's not just crafting some kind of practice. I'm going to drink water every morning. I'm going to exercise this morning. But what is really the meaning and intention behind it? Don't make it just a checklist. So that's really one of the first tips that I have for you. So whatever you're going to do, I'll be sharing with you what I do each morning to really help ground my day and start. But whatever you decide that works for you, make sure that you've thought about how it's going to benefit you and why it's important to you, your mind, body. And then think about that this is also going to help you become more centered. So as we cultivate a morning practice, it helps us to gain a sense of awareness and ownership of our day, helps us to become more centered as we begin our day. And really that setting up is so important. So think of rituals as a morning ritual as actions with meaning or emotions tied to them. So it keeps our day moving, and it's infused with joy, pleasure, and happiness. So any ritual that you do, whether it's a morning ritual, evening ritual, something with family, think of what feeling you want to attach to it. How do you want to feel in the outcome? So if you decide one of your morning rituals is to exercise or move your body, how do you want your body to feel after you've been jogging, running, yoga, Pilates, whatever it might be, walking? So always kind of connecting that, again, that intention, and then also those emotions attached to it. One of the biggest tips I can share with you is to get dressed in the morning. I know it sounds silly, and I used to actually work from home before I started teaching yoga, and I'd have office days, and for the first year I stayed in my pajamas all day and wasn't as productive on that office day as if I brushed my teeth and brush my hair and put on clothing, put on even jewelry, put on an essential oil or a fragrance or cologne, whatever it is for you that says I'm going to start my day as if I'm leaving the home. All of that, all of those actions send messages to your brain, and that's telling your brain it's time. It's time for a productive moment. We're going to go to work, we're going to do whatever it might be. So, I know it sounds really simple to say change from your pajamas to some regular clothing and pretend you are going out for the day, even if you're working from home, but it really does make a difference on, psychologically, how you're going to be productive the rest of the day. You just become a little bit more alert and clear on your intention for the day when you're a little more put together. So even if you're not leaving the house. The other big tip before I go into some of my daily routines is that make it different. So I mentioned one of the ways to start your day might be to move your body. Well, one of the ways to make it different is not to keep doing the same thing every day. So if you're moving your body and today you're going to do yoga, maybe tomorrow you can do, a little bit of running, or maybe this week I'm going to focus on yoga and stretching, and next week I'm going to jog or hike. So keeping that consistent moving your body, but making it different for you so you don't get bored. And really just, how are you going to move your body differently today? Dance, walk, hike, whatever it might be. The other thing is your sleep habits. Right now, you may have different sleep habits because you're not on a regular schedule for going into work or working at home, or some of you are at work and your hours might be different. So really thinking about, before cultivating that morning practice, what does pre look like with bedtime? Sleep is so important for our immune system, and if right now it is so important to have a healthier and strong immune system, one of the first ways to do that is to get very good sleep. Unplug early at night from devices and try to get several hours of sound sleep before starting that morning practice. So the last thing I wanted to talk to you about before what does a morning practice look like, I'm going to share with you some of the things that I do. Is there is never a time that you have to do everything on your list. So if you are a list person, and I am definitely a list person, giving yourself that compassion to know, hey, I didn't get it all done today. I'm going to start again tomorrow. And so those are just some tips that I have before I can share with you what I do that make my morning practice so important, and that I've gotten back to after the first 2 to 3 weeks at home and adjusting to some of the changes we're going through right now, noticing in my body that I was feeling a little unstable with the first few weeks not doing a routine again. So I added it back in and tried to be as intentional behind each action as I could. Now, this may take you waking up a little bit early. If you have children or animals, it might mean waking up 30 minutes, 45 minutes before, so that you can consistently create this practice, and it makes such a big difference on how you feel. So my practice is, and these are just my practices that help me, and you can take them for what they're worth and incorporate them into your morning practice. But the first thing I do is make sure I stay unplugged a little longer than normal. So I do not sleep with my phone in my bedroom. It is in the restroom close by, so I can hear my alarm if I need one, but lately I've been waking up early enough that the sun peaks and I can wake up. So the first thing is try not to go straight to the gadget, right? Try to at least take a couple of deep breaths in. I lie in bed, take some deep breaths, do a body scan, asking my body, how does it feel? Is there any areas that need my attention? And just taking some deep breaths in bed as I cultivate also a gratitude practice. One thing that I can be grateful for, whether it was great sleep or something, a person, something for the day. So bringing gratitude into the morning right away. less gadgets right away. The first thing I do after I wake up, I do a little bit of stretching right away, but I grab a glass of water and I add lemon in my water. You may have heard people drink lemon water when they wake up. One of the reasons that I drink lemon water is overnight you have toxins that have built up, and so this helps to remove some of the toxins from the body. It's also a great source of vitamin C, and it also stimulates your metabolism. So I drink it at room temperature, not cold, and those are just great reasons to do it for me. The second thing, or the third thing, is I make sure to make my bed. Now, you can decide that you don't want to make your bed, but for me, part of getting rid of the chaos in my mind is when I walk back into my room and I'm working from home, I don't want to see a messy bed. So creating that structure is also nice, and another reason to make my bed is I just enjoy, keeping it tidy. The other thing I do is meditate. So if you don't meditate, breathing is just as helpful. So some type of mindful practice. It can be any type of mindful practice. You can go outside and sit outside, listen to the birds, ground and sit in the grass, walk around in earth. So many other ways to meditate than just to sit down. I do sit down for anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes and try to meditate and breathe. And that connection begins to form all of my intentions and emotions, physically, mentally, spiritually, for my day, to set up my day. So like I said, breathing is just taking some deep breaths can help ground you and give you some mindful moments before your day gets started. I mentioned earlier putting effort into getting dressed, and that is a really important piece. And as I've read so many different research articles on this, when you get dressed for your day, again, whether you are sitting at home on phone calls or on Zoom and you're getting dressed and you're brushing your hair and maybe putting on whatever you put on normally to leave the house, it is sending messages to your brain to say, okay, we're ready. I'm ready to start the day. I'm ready to work and listen and focus. So putting that intention in getting dressed. Not saying I get dressed fancy. It might be yoga pants and yoga clothes, but I'm out of my PJs at that point. The next thing is I make sure that I move my body. So again, how that looks is different all the time, depends on how I feel. It could be stretching, it could be yoga, it could be running, walking. I usually walk my dogs every morning, but then also do an activity before that on my own. And for me, it's normally yoga, or it might be a light jog. For you, it could be going hiking, rowing, whatever it might be if you want to leave your home, or you can jump rope or do some type of exercise at home as well, just to really get the blood flowing and the energy moving. Biggest tip there, like I said earlier, is to change it up. So whether you're walking every day, maybe you change your route up. So in the mind kind of gets bored sometimes with, I'm going the same route every time. So if you're walking in your neighborhood or if you're walking somewhere else or running, maybe just go a different direction, and that will help to kind of keep things fresh. The next thing is I'm eating a healthy snack in the morning, some type of healthy breakfast, really get my metabolism moving. And then I do drink coffee. I drink black or sometimes a green tea. That's definitely on my list. And speaking of lists, the last thing I do, and I do this every day, is I write a to-do list, and usually on my phone. And a to-do list is an important part of my morning practice because it helps to get all of the chatter that's in my mind out, so that at least I see it on my phone or a sheet of paper. And again, that tip I mentioned earlier, being compassionate with yourself if at the end of the day you don't get everything accomplished on your to-do list. That is okay. So those are some of my morning practices, and I shared with you some of the benefits of having a morning practice. But I would say the biggest reason to start a morning practice, especially right now, if you've kind of been wavering during this pandemic, is to just try to create less stress on the body, because that structure helps you to be less overwhelmed. Knowing that you are going to wake up and know that you're going to be centered and know that you're going to take the first 30 minutes for yourself and your whole well-being makes a huge difference on what the rest of the day looks like. So I hope you enjoyed some of those tips. I know I'm going to be sending them to the Trail Foundation, and they can put them up on their blog to share with you. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Again, my name is Cynthia, the founder of ATX Yoga Girl. I have loved sharing Wellness Wednesday for the Trail Foundation, and I hope that you continue to support the Trail Foundation with any donation or support during this time. And especially if you're looking for ways to move your body, they still have the virtual Mahdi's Moonlight Run. It's a 5K that you can do, great for the family to walk, run, or hike, and that runs through July 4th. So let's take another collective big deep breath in together as I say goodbye. Exhale, releasing any tension. All right, namaste, friends. You guys have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.